Hey everybody, this is Cindy. Go get your coffee, go get your iced tea. It's time for us to come to the table and have a nice talk about what we're learning, what we're teaching today. Now I'm going to front load this video with what we learned yesterday, with what we learned in our last video. What we learned in our last video was that language is comprised of 5 key elements: reading comprehension, literary analysis, writing, and listening and speaking skills. And we started with our listening and speaking skills, and we're going to continue with listening and speaking skills right now. Now, what I just did is something that you can also do at home. Start the day by uploading or front loading what you did yesterday, because right away your child is going to go, yep, I remember. And then it starts off with a summary of what they did yesterday, and it starts off with success as they go, oh, I remember that, yeah, I'm ready to go. And if they don't remember it, it gives you sort of a check to make a mental note that, gee, they don't really remember what we did yesterday. I might need to go back and review that so that it's a little bit more ingrained in them. So today we're going to be continuing our discussion on speaking and listening skills. So I want to sort of talk about describing. We've talked about answering incomplete sentences. We've talked about making or having our children extend their sentences more than just yes or no answers, but really tell us about a circumstance, tell us about an experience. And so in order for a child to be able to tell you, they have to have the words, they have to have the descriptors to tell you what they saw, what they experienced. And it's up to you to help give them those words. Now, because you're homeschooling, you are giving automatically your child lots of incidental knowledge. You're probably already taking your child to the grocery store with you, to the bank, to the post office, to museums, to field trips, to Boy Scouts, to church camp, to all those things where they pick up that, what I call incidental knowledge. So they already have a context built in that gives them words to help describe circumstances and experiences. But it's your job as their teacher to hold them accountable for using those words. If you ask them, tell me about your day, tell me about what happened at baseball practice, tell me about what happened at church last night, then you don't want them to just sit there and not be able to answer you. You want them to have the words to tell you. And if they don't, then you need to prompt them. And once again, think of your senses. You know, well, what was it like at church last night? I don't know. Well, no, let's talk about it. I'm thinking hearing. Was there singing? Oh yeah, we sang. In fact, we learned a new song. Oh, you did? What was the name of the song? Okay, now all of a sudden the conversation is rolling. You can talk about what it sounded like. What did things look like? What did things feel like? And so begin to draw out words from your child, because a large vocabulary in a person is a sign of intelligence. We want words at our command, and this is where it starts as your child learns to speak and listen. Okay, another way to learn new words is to recite. Now, in the olden days, we used to have to memorize. Memorize, get up in front of the room and recite. But you know what? There really was nothing wrong with that. Reciting poetry, reciting a Bible verse, reciting the Girl Scout honor, whatever it is. In order to recite, think of all the skills involved in that. They have to first be able to read it. They have to understand it. They have to memorize it. Memorizing is a whole nother skill we're going to be talking about. What does it mean to memorize? How do you memorize? We're going to talk about that. And then public speaking, getting up and reciting it. That's huge. So with homeschool families, maybe your child is going to recite it to you, the parent, or to the group, the group of siblings or kids that you happen to be working with. But reciting is part of our speaking skills. So have them learn something to recite. There are wonderful, beautiful child poems that are available. You can go to your local library. You can look online. Short, fun poems that have rhyming words and descriptive words. Rhyming words, that's another part of our language we're going to be talking about. Descriptive words, that's part of our language. See how all of this just ties in together. So we're going to be, I want you to be talking to your kids about and finding something for them to recite. It can be a poem, like I said, a poem, a Bible verse, whatever, it's up to you. It should be appropriate for the age. Don't have them recite a whole chapter, but maybe three sentences, 4 sentences for a 5 or 6 year old. And you'll notice that as you pick out something for them to recite, that there's going to be a rhythm, a cadence to what it is that you're asking them to recite, that they're going to be feeling, their body's going to be feeling, and they're going to be getting the gist of language. They're going to get the feel of language through recitation. So, okay, let's see what else I want to talk about. We've talked about speaking, listening, telling, being able to tell something using descriptive words, reciting, and following directions. Now, I want to kind of review following directions because remember, try not to give or ask your child to follow more than 3 directions at a time. Give your husband the test, or if you're the husband homeschooling, give your wife the test. Ask her to do something. Give her more than 3 directions and see if they get followed correctly. So anyway, this is number 2 video on language. Now remember, language has the 5 important components, and we are on the first component of listening and speaking. This week, today, tomorrow, I want you to work on recitation with your child. Find something, maybe it has a coloring page with it, or it has some kind of a fun picture to go along with it. But find something that you can ask your child to memorize and recite to you. It's a lot like singing. You know how we learn and sing and memorize the words to songs, and we're singing aloud with our friends in the car. That's what recitation is. But it's the fact that we're really thinking about it, and we're learning those, even in that young age, we're learning those little speaking skills where we stand, where we make eye contact with our audience, where we don't fiddle fumble with our hands, but we put our hands in front of us or in back of us, where we stand tall and we work on our posture. So that is, that's our lesson for this week. Recitation, describing, and remembering not to give more than 3 directions at a time. And I'm looking forward to hearing how it goes. So this is Cindy, and our next video will have to do with reading and concepts about print. So I'll see you later. Bye-bye.